everybody. Welcome back to Annuity Fundamentals. I'm your host, Kylie Malott, joined with Ryan Anderson. Today, we have a very special guest, Steve DeJohn. He is the president and principal of Advisors Ignite USA. And so we're excited to hear from him today. He's kind of a big deal in the annuity space. So he's got a lot of good nuggets for us today, and we're going to get into it. So thank you, Steve, for joining us. We're happy to have you.
All right. Now, and one other thing, Steve. Now, Kylie didn't quite do him enough justice there. $10 billion in personal production, trained tens of thousands of agents, and not just the president of AIUSA, but the founder.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of rolled into annuities later in your career. That's not where you started. Is that fair to say? So, Steve, how did you get going in this whole industry? Kind of give us your story.
Yeah, probably like everybody that gets into the insurance business, right? We come from all walks of life. Nobody really wakes up and says, I want to be an insurance agent later. So it's just weird that we get everybody from, different backgrounds. So I was in a family business with my father, a couple of them, and we had run into some issues in the business with competitors and other things. And then my father got cancer and had passed away really quickly. So I had a friend that worked for Prudential, and I went to Prudential and got my Series 6, my 63, and I was a big life insurance guy. And, Prudential, you're a captive agent. Therefore, you got a desk, you got your 401k, you got to do your reporting and stuff like that. So all I did was sell life insurance, and life insurance, I found out to be, I was the #1 producer in their office. And I think I only made 60 grand that year because most of it is term. It's hard to find the big life insurance cases. You're driving all over Timbuktu. You're trying to get 2 people to show up for the appointment, and then 1 shows up for the appointment. Now you got to go through something called underwriting, and then the people sometimes are not very honest about their health. They're not very honest about their prescriptions. They're not very honest about their drinking habits, their other habits, and things pop up. So it's a tough game in the life insurance. Great business to be in, very lucrative. There's no doubt about it. But that's where I was with Prudential. Then I got recruited to MetLife. I was with them for about 2 years. Then I went to the Money Group. I was with them for 2 years. And then I got a invite in the mail, and it was a postcard to go to a dinner seminar. And I actually had a friend that was in the business, and he was hosting it. So I went and watched it, and didn't know anything about annuities. Even though Prudential sold annuities, we had a couple variable annuities back in the day, but I was more the life guy. So I went and watched him present, and he was okay. He wasn't spectacular. But then I learned at that time, that was in 2000, these are now great retirement vehicles that have really no underwriting like you do with health and wealth products, life insurance and Medicare, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got a whole different ballgame when it comes to commissions. I mean, my God, it's incredible. Back then it was 10%. You can still get 8.5% with some of our carriers today, which is incredible. So I watched him do it. I went out, started doing my own seminars my very first year, and I wrote $5 million the first year. I wrote $7 million the second year, and then $15 million the third year. And all I did was do dinner seminars within 2 miles of my office, and I did 40 a year, which would be 20 mailings, because a mailing is 2 nights a week, like a Tuesday and Thursday. I didn't do any seminars in November, December, because 2 reasons. I'm in the Chicago suburbs and it's cold and snowy, but now you get in November and people say, call me after Thanksgiving. And then when you call me after Thanksgiving, call me after Christmas, and call me after New Year's. So I went after it, January through October, and never had a year that it never had a dinner seminar where I didn't have a ROI that was 10, 20, 40, 50, 100 times what I paid on that dinner seminar because of the commission. So I enjoyed that. Went from the seminar game to the radio game to the TV game. I'm pretty good in marketing as my background. I've been on billboards all over my hometown here in Arlington Heights, Illinois. So I've had billboards. I've been on trains going in the metro. So you name it, I've tried it. And marketing is really what gets you in front of prospects. But a lot of our listeners here today already have prospects. They're already on their book of business. They have people that actually need annuities and need, either lifetime income or protection from the marketplace. And they're sitting on a gold mine, and we can certainly help them.
Absolutely. I appreciate that timeline because more often than not, you get a new agent and they want to be where you are right now, right? But they have to go through all the steps. I mean, you said you worked for 6 years before you got into them, like to do seminars, right? Was that 6 or 8 years about? And so in that process, in that time, you learned a lot. So did I, right? Before I started, I was door knocking, I was doing drop bys, all those things, cold calling. That's how we all start out. And then we think, how do we get in front of more people? How do we do this better? So that's the whole point of today's podcast, really, in today's episode is to say, all right, I'm new. How do I get there faster? Kylie made mistakes. Steve made mistakes. Ryan made mistakes. What mistakes did we all make so that we got to where we are now so that they can skip those? And I think marketing is a big one. I think people can spend their money in the wrong way at the wrong marketing, but marketing and branding yourself in this business is huge. So I appreciate that timeline. Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
You know, it's funny that there's an old adage that 50% of my marketing budget doesn't work. I just wish I knew which 50% it was as we're going through here. And it's really easy to throw money at marketing. It's really easy to, if you've got it, there's somebody out there willing to take it. But Steve, you swerved into something that I think a lot of agents really missed the boat on. And that is, I'm a Medicare agent. If I've been in the business for over a year, I've got clients out there. I have some level of competency because I've been in the business for over a year, and this is a hard gig to make a living at. If I'm a final expense guy, or if I'm even an IUL, a mortgage protection, whatever the life product is you want to focus on, you've got that, you're there, and you've got that base of clients. And a lot of agents, as we sit down with them and we start to train them, all right, let's show you how to move from health to wealth or from life to wealth. And they're like, okay, so where do I go buy these leads at? So how do I need to go start doing seminars? Do I need to start doing this stuff? And the short answer to that is stay close to home and work your existing book of business. You know them, they know you, and as far as bang for the buck, you can't.
Yeah, the opportunity is there.
Yeah, and they know you, so they're going to be a lot more forgiving than somebody out on the street is. Can you talk a little bit more about that, Steve?
Yeah, I agree. You know, the people that you're dealing with are the perfect demographics for annuities. Last year, so everybody listening, there was $380 billion sold in annuities in 2023, which broke the record of $320 billion in 2020. So the market is massive. We all have heard this thing, you know, there's 15,000 people turning 65 every day, which is huge for you Medicare agents, but it's also huge for those people. They all have IRAs, they all have brokerage accounts, they all have a 401k that needs to be rolled over, they all have CDs, you know, it doesn't matter. So we can help you not only target your existing book of business. Advisors Ignite is the only IMO in the country that invented a smartphone app. And the smartphone app, we have each and every one of you can download this onto your smartphone, download all of your Medicare life clients or anything else that you're selling out there. And we have step by step on how you can nurture these people and educate them on annuities in the most professional manner with the most professional videos. And these are going via text to your consumers. And the cool thing is when they watch them, you get notified that, hey, Ryan Anderson just watched how an index annuity works, or Kylie Millette just watched how guaranteed income for life annuity works. So when you're having conversations with your prospects over the phone, like I do, and I'll talk about lead systems here in a moment in a sale I just made last week. But when I talk to them and I say, hey, Ryan, are you looking for income growth or both? And Ryan might say, you know what, Steve, I really don't need income. I've got a teacher's pension and we're kind of frugal and my wife's got Social Security, but I just would like some growth and safety. Well, I know I'm going down that door, right? It's like Bob Barker, you got door number 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to go down door number 1 and I'm going to sell them an accumulation annuity with no fees and no risk and high caps and high rates. That's easy. We've got an annuity today that 4 is the floor, unlike any other index annuity where 0 is your hero. We have 4% as your minimum or 90% of the S&P. It's one or the other. I mean, it's the easiest thing to explain to anybody. You get the greater of the two. And when the consumer realizes the S&P's been around 96 years with 71% of the time it's positive, that's a great annuity, right? Easy sell. Yeah. Now Ryan might have said, hey, Steve, I do need income. And when do you want it on? Do you want it on 30 days, 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years? And once they tell you that information, say, listen, I'm going to text you a couple of videos you and your spouse can watch right on your smartphone. It'll educate you on these. And then I'll have some stuff prepared for next time that we meet, whether you go meet in person or you do a Zoom. So we've got some incredible tools that will help you get right into the annuity game, right out of the gate early, just by downloading your existing clients and using our smartphone app.
Now
Holy smokes, smartphone apps are so nice nowadays. I mean, really, everyone's got a smartphone. What do? You click the app, you want to see everything you have. So what is that app called and how do you get it?
Yeah, it's the Advisors Ignite app. And it's annuitysalesapp.com. You can go to that link and download it. It's offered free to our agents and partners that want to align with us and align with Annuity Fundamentals and get trained by the best in the business. So it's another value-added proposition when you're looking for the right IMO and the right place to put your annuity business. We've got the Annuity Fundamentals training that I'm sure Ryan and Kylie are going to talk about extensively here today. Then you can lean on an IMO that has 40 years experience in this space with 10 billion in sales. I have a little over 350 million in personal sales, which is unusual. Most IMO principals have never sold an annuity. They just happen to own the IMO and have all the different products. So a lot of ways that we can help everybody on this call without question.
Now, one of the things here, I want to swerve back to a couple of things you hit on, but there's more to that story than you told. And so, yes, you're the founder. You've got an amazing app that's out there with videos that are on there. You have work with Annuity Fundamentals. So yes, we've got that 6-week course. We teach agents how to go through. They get your great rates. They work with you. But that product you mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, it's from a company that they're very exclusive. They've gone through and said, okay, we're not going to make this available across the country. We're going to pick these 8 or 10 IMOs that have got high ethics, that have got people we know and trust, and we're going to launch this new product with them exclusively. Is that the product that we're talking about there that we learned about when we were at your office a few weeks ago?
Yes, yeah, it is. It's from Revel One is the name of the carrier. The cast of characters that are running this company have all headed and CEO'd major companies such as Allianz and other ones that are out there. So they are very well known in the industry. Their logo is a cheetah. Will and Can are their names, and they're just a different vibe, a different feel, and that's pretty cool. They came out with this product that's any consumer can understand, right? I mean, all index annuities, it was always zero's your hero, which is great. You can't lose money, but this one floors the floor, or 90% of what the S&P does over a 7-year period. It's the greater of the two. They want a 5-year, it still floors the floor, or 75% of the S&P. I mean, the S&P did 25% this year, so I think that beat the 4% if you're going to get 75 or 90% of that. And it also takes away some people on their annual reviews. They might have told somebody, hey, let's put all your money in the S&P 500 this year, and it's a down year, and then they might turn it around on you and say, hey, I got zero. I should have had some in the fixed rate. Why didn't you tell me that? So annual reviews can be fun, but sometimes you can be backstepping. So this takes that pain point out of the equation. But great company.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
it's always nice to have your company aligned with your values as well. So those guys, I mean, you're right. They've been the top leaders in the industry, and now they've come together and they've made some pretty incredible products. I mean, could you imagine 4 is the floor? Like, that's the least you can do. The upside potential is insane. So, and how easy is that to communicate to a client? Like, okay, this is the bare minimum, because you're right. Annual reviews can be really nice, or they can be kind of painful.
Mm-hmm.
So the floor being 4%, I mean, they're always growing. I think that's an easy product to communicate to somebody. Definitely.
Now, as we're going through here, and what would you say if you had to go through and pick your ideal agent out there, as far as, all right, you've been in the industry for how long? You've done Medicare, you've done life, whatever. You are now far enough along that you should be able to transition into annuities. You've got the life experience, the work experience. Paint us a picture for if you had to go through and you're at a job fair and I want these people in this line, and those are the ones I want to deal with primarily. Who would that be?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of the people that are on this podcast, right? It's if you're in the Medicare space, you're typically working, and you guys know this better than I do. You're working 2 or 3 months out of the year, right? That's kind of like your window. And I've
That's the
never,
big one. Yeah.
yeah, I've never sold a Medicare product. It wasn't something I ever got into. I think it's brilliant to do it because everybody needs residual income as king. So, a lot of guys in our business that sell annuities, they also have their Series 65 and they sell AUM. Well, AUM, it's going to take you a while to get 25, 50, 100 million under assets where you get your 1% a year. Where in the Medicare sales world, I think if you get to 300 sales apps, you're somewhere around 100 grand in renewals. And then you get to 600, it's about double that. I think my numbers are kind of close.
Mhm.
So I think it's great. Residual income is king. And now that you can go back to them and offer annuities, right? So the annuity commissions, again, the average commission is 7%. We have products here at Advisors Ignite that are 8.5%. Now, obviously, you don't sell products based on commission drive. You sell it based on the wants and needs of your prospect, which whether it's income growth or both, or short-term, long-term. A lot of people that are moving IRA money, for example, into annuities, they want income for life. You lean to the longer surrender charges because they're going to keep it forever. It's a moot point because you're going to get them the higher caps and the higher rates, and it best suits them. If somebody says, "Hey, Steve, I might need that money in 5 or 6 years," then we plug it into that direction. So always mindful to do what's best for the consumer. But our training and everything else we have in hand is going to get you off and running and get you to some incredible commissions.
Now, one of the things I like about your guys' model, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, is that you guys are an annuity IMO. You guys focus on annuities and on the life side. And so if I am an independent Medicare agent and I've got contracts with different IMOs that I am very happy with, I've got an upline I'm happy with, I've got support, I've got systems, I've got all of that in place. The philosophy you guys take is leave it intact. We don't want to mess with that. Come to us and let's show you how to leverage your existing clients, your existing systems with some great comp, and we'll show you how to do annuities. So leave your Medicare there. We'll help you with the annuity side. Is that kind of what your guys' model is?
It is. It is. We've actually had some agents recently that want to ask if we can have their Medicare, run through us, and that's a conversation as well. But yeah, if you like your home for that, keep it. What we'll do for you is we'll recommend, listen, here are the top 3 to 4 accumulation annuities, and here's the top 3 and 4 guaranteed income for life annuities. And this should be enough in your arsenal to get started because we're going to train you on that. You don't want to get too overwhelmed. And the reality, there's hundreds of fixed index annuities out there, and the majority of them are pretty much the same, right? They all have no safety. Some have a small fee, some have no fee, some have income, some don't have income. So we'll tell you which companies. I wouldn't know who to contract with in Medicare sales. I'd have to lean on everybody on this call. Like, am I going through Humana, or am I going through Omaha, or whatever the carriers are? I would need your help on that. So we'll get you contracted within a couple of days with the top carriers, the top payouts, and then put your training in force. Another thing, every one of you will be signed to a individual business development coach here at Advisors Ignite. So you can pick up the phone every single day. Hey, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. This guy's got 250,000. He said he wanted income in 3 years. We have a software that compares every annuity in the company, and we'll send you a spreadsheet of the top 15 that you can just put right down on your client's desk and say, listen, we're a wholesaler. We don't just represent 1 or 2 companies. We represent all of them. And the reason that's important to you, Mr. and Mrs. Client, is I work for you, I don't work for them. And all of a sudden their mind just opened up. Why am I going to talk to anybody else about an annuity when this gentleman is proving to me that he's fishing for the best available thing that can, help my family and my needs? So we've got the software, we've got the smartphone app. The smartphone app, by the way, is a $5,000 minimum value for each agent, and we paid for it for you. Everything goes to your prospects with your name on it. There's a digital business card with your picture. You can text them. There's an opening welcome video. You can text them. I just created our free secrets page. It's the 5 things that money managers don't want to talk to you about. And your clients can open it, and then they go through the second step and the third step. There's videos. There's tens of thousands of dollars of resources in this app that make you look like $1 million to your Medicare and life clients because it blows them away. I just looked this morning. Every morning I look on my phone, the activity log, and I already saw 16 different people from 3 in the morning till just now at noon that have been watching my videos and opening my emails. And those are follow-up calls that I can make with any of them. So, really neat stuff that we can get you off and running instead of you worried about, I'm on the beach and I got to push this tractor and how am I going to get this thing going? We're going to get you on a faster track.
I hope the agents know how lucky they are if they're listening to this. I mean, you're giving them everything. So agents out there, you're a MedSup agent wanting to get into the annuity space, Annuity Fundamentals, we're going to teach you the first 6 weeks, and then we're going to open up the master class. And then with AI USA, you have a dedicated business coach. Is that what the title was? To help you in the back end? Are you kidding me? I mean, if I would have had that starting out, I think that would have fast-tracked my annuity production. That's incredible. Yeah. So get training, right? We have the 6 weeks and then the master class, and then you get opened up to a personalized business coach to say, hey, I've got a case, I need some help, and they're going to help you with case design and presenting. Like, that's huge. These new Medicare agents, I hope you understand what that means for you. You can go on this Medicare appointment, you can uncover the money, see that what they have in their portfolio, use the training, understand annuities, do a annuity 101 presentation, and then go back and get a whole case design. And that takes all the pressure off. I mean, what a position to be in, being a brand new agent, wanting to get into this space, and you've made it that easy. Like, I'm jealous. That's incredible. Wow.
It really is. Now, the thing about it is that there's agents out there that are looking at this and they're hearing this. And so let me ask you a couple things. What are some of the mistakes you see new agents making when they try to get into the annuity space? Now, because I can point out a whole bunch of them that I made. I could talk for hours on the screw ups that I did, but there are a few common ones that are out there, and you've addressed a lot of those as far as fixing them and everything else. So they've got you talked a little bit about marketing before. Where would you go through, and how would you recommend a new agent start marketing when it comes to annuities?
Well, you obviously have one of the best marketing companies, your lead shop, right? I mean, you can do all that stuff for them from seminars to everything else. There are a lot of lead companies that were out there in the market space that you'll get pummeled with emails like, we have 350,000 new CD holders coming due next week, and you see all these things. There's no way that a bank's going to give that information to somebody so we can go in and mow their lawn, right? So there's a lot of bad lead companies out there, so I'd stay away from those. Advisors Ignite, we have our own in-house lead programs that people outside of your prospects that want to, need to be educated on annuities, we're going to help you. I know we can make you sell 1, 2, 3, 5 million in their first year just with your book of business. We can do that sound asleep. You want new people to sell, we have lead programs. I'll give you an example. I get leads every day and I work them right here from my desk while running this IMO with, over 700 agents around the country selling annuities for us. I had a lead last Monday that came in, and on Thursday before I left the office, because he looked at my videos from the app, he liked the digital business card, he liked the welcome video that talks about how much money is in annuities and how annuities can work for you. This guy had a $1.6 million Transamerican annuity that was past surrender charges, and the income he was going to get was $65,000 for life. Well, I went right on my screen and looked at the current income in the Equitrust Market 7 index with a 25% bonus and a 7% roll up every year until you turn it on. He's going to make $167,000 a year for life, $100,000 more. So He just said, Steve, how do I start? And I said, well, I'll just fax you the signature pages. So I faxed him the signature pages. Now, granted, I put him in my app on Monday and I left him a voicemail. I said, hey, Ryan, this is Steve with the Annuity Architects, and I'm calling you today because you just spoke with Chloe, whose ever name is on the lead sheet. You told her you're looking for an annuity. I'm assuming this is your cell phone, and I always say this in all my messages because it is. I'll say, look at your cell phone. You'll see my digital business card with my ugly mug right there looking at you. You'll see a little video about our company, and then just give me a ring and let's chat when you get a moment. And I'm sure I can steer you in the right direction. And that's what my message is. It's very soft. It's unassuming. And he called 3 days later. He actually texted me, hey, watch the videos. And then all of a sudden he put all the information on a text. I still haven't talked to him. I'm a total stranger. Says, I got 1.6 with Transamerica. Here's how much they want. If you can beat this, I want to make a move. I was like, that's when you're jumping up and down in the room. So,
oh yeah,
Yeah, I emailed him the signature pages on Thursday. He just texted me Saturday. He's at his summer home in Oregon. He says, "Hey, I saw Transamerican send the money. Thanks for your help." Well, that was 8.5% commission. And in 3 days they closed it. That's $137,000, I think, for one sale.
Or how many
Now,
texts and phone calls? I mean,
I only spoke to him once and I didn't, but he already watched 3 of my videos. He opened the digital business card. He looked at the opening welcome video, which is so powerful. He just started texting me, "Hey, great video. Hey, great dad." And all of a sudden he offered his information about his annuity to me. And I still haven't talked to him on the phone. So do they all go like that? Of course not. But there's many of the leads that are in my smartphone app right now that are being nurtured as we're talking right here. There's people watching because they can opt in for the email campaign. They can look at old videos. So just some exciting stuff. And the money's out there, guys. All of your
Yeah.
clients have the money.
Disclaimer, they don't always go that way, but the ones that do, oh my gosh, what a nice event that was last week. Also for our listeners, I don't know if you heard him. He spoke to them one time, but they never met in person. So this technology and this app and these questions that we have are perfect for our virtual agents who aren't wanting to leave the home, who do want to work from home. Things like this, these tools, this can change your business. I mean, he sat in his office, he watched a video. I mean, it's easy as 1, 2, 3, really. And we can overcomplicate it because that's what we do as human beings. But that process seems pretty flawless in that scenario. So, wow, that's new.
yeah. And the thing about it is that there is a huge value in that. And now let me just make sure I've got the whole value proposition here correct. I'm a Medicare agent. I've got a book of business. I want to get into annuities. I get to keep my Medicare book where it's at. I don't have to leave that. I'm independent. I can just make no change. I give you guys a call. I contract with you through you on your IMO for the annuity providers. You will pay for a class that's normally about $3,200 to a 6-week-long training course with Annuity Fundamentals, where they're going to teach you how to transition step by step over to sell annuities to work with your existing clients. You're going to give them an app that's got over $5,000 worth of content and features to it. It's got all of these different videos, and you're going to go through and train them to do that. You're going to give them a live in-person assigned designated business coach to help you go through and do case designs. And then you're going to go through and have so they can help them go through the whole process of actually closing the business. I don't see a weak link in that chain anywhere.
What are you waiting for is the only question people should be asked. What are you waiting for?
Yeah, even if you move 100,000, you're going to make $7,000. And, annuities, life insurance can take 30, 60 days. The rate can go up. The client can say it's too much money. All these different things can happen. So that's the neat thing about moving money. You get paid much quicker. We help you with all of that stuff. So whether it's $100,000 sale or $1 million sale, everybody out there, I promise you will get one of those on each end and a lot in between, over the next couple of years, just by working your book of business, leaning on us for our expertise. And then obviously Ryan and Kylie, the way that they help you now transition from your very first appointment with your next Medicare sale. They tell you how to tee up the annuity conversation in a compliance manner and in a way that gets them to talk about their money, which is key. And if you don't have that today, you're going to want to get on it. We had about 35 people start the class. Was it four Tuesdays ago now already? And they've
About 4 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're loving it, everything that they learned from these two. So great 1-2 punch.
Thing about it is if we focus on, and let's look at the Medicare business model with that. And you swerved into something earlier that if we look at the Medicare sales year, and let's start it in September, because that is when people start to get their AHIP done, they get their compliance done, all of their training done, that annual process. And so they take 5-6 weeks of that, they figure out where their clients are. October 1st rolls around, so they can now start talking to their clients about these new products. October 15th rolls around, they can actually start writing it. And when I was a Medicare agent and I had to manage the team, I'd have everybody over to my dinner to my house for dinner. We'd have a party sometime the first week of October. They'd tell them to bring their spouses and significant others. And at the end of the evening, we'd have a ceremonial kiss goodbye. And we'd tell them, say goodbye to them now. They're going to be home at Christmas, because that is our we're crazy busy that time of year. So they work your AEP just like you normally would. However, we can show you how to compliantly add annuity language to that. Oh yeah, you can do it. And as long as there's a method to it, but we want to make sure in a scoped appointment even, and you're not actually selling it in that appointment. Just for disclaimer, you're setting up an appointment later for it. Then you've got March through no, excuse me, January through March, where you have OEP, where you're able to go back and review and possibly get some additional advantage plans with other individuals. They can still make that change. So then we've got April through August. There's a 5-month window there that is kind of a drought unless you've got special election periods for your Medicare clients. Or if you've got T65s, you can keep working those. However, you've got 5 months there where you can sit down and go back to all of your existing clients. You can sit down and visit with them, and we can show you how to do appropriate fact finder to get into the money with these folks. They know you. You can go through and reconfirm why you're their Medicare agent, cement the business, and that can be your annuity season that fits very nicely right into a Medicare work year.
That's a great point. I mean, Medicare agents, you're right. You're always looking for the next. Residuals are nice when it comes to Medicare, but I mean, they're not going to change your life. So it's nice to be holistic in the home. And we've talked about that a lot on these episodes of, okay, when you're sitting down in front of someone who's turning 65, there's a great need there. They don't know much about Medicare. Maybe they've retired or they're not working anymore, so their life insurance is gone and they have a gap in there. They have a 401k and they have no idea what to do with it. I sit in front of so many clients who are like, okay, yeah, I've saved. I have a 401k. Okay, well, what's your plan with that?
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's a pause and then usually to live on. Okay, well, most of us in middle America, at least people that I visit, they have a portfolio anywhere from, 250 to 750,000. And we all know that's not going to get you 30 years of income from that. So what are tools that we can talk about? And that's the annuities. And that's what we do. We're the distribution side, right? So we need to have these tools in our tool belt to say, hey, we can help you. And that all starts with setting up expectations. And that all starts from the beginning. That's that first appointment.
Yeah. So, Steve, as we're winding down here, any last minute or any final comment before we shut this thing down, as far as for an agent out there, anything, tidbit, a nugget of wisdom with your very long and illustrious career you'd like to share with them?
No, I would just say when I transitioned into it, I never looked back, right? I had my securities license. I let them go. I would encourage anybody, if you're not in the Medicare sales, maybe in your life, that's okay, get your 65, because that's another residual path for AUM that I think it's just smart either way, whichever way you're going. But yeah, we had a magazine. Now it's called Insurance Newsnet magazine that all the insurance agents get. It used to be called Senior Market Advisor magazine. That's when everybody got mailed to their house if you were an agent. And I wound up on the cover of it on June of 2004. Can't believe it's 20 years ago. For selling 15 million a year in annuities, I was on the cover and a finalist for Advisor of the Year. And I didn't know how to sell annuities 6 years prior to that. So I started it. I did very well in the first year. I like speaking. I think you can maybe sense that a little bit. I liked getting in front of crowds. My seminars would have 25 people minimum. I used to have 150 people. I didn't care if they came for the food. I didn't care if they stole all the mints. I didn't care if they did whatever they wanted in the restaurant. It didn't matter to me. I was going to get somebody's attention every time on why this is a great place for some of your money. And, you keep it simple in this game, right? We only do two things with money in our life. We either spend it or we give it. And if you're going to spend it, it's got to be in some form of annuity because you can't outlive it. And if you're going to give it, it's got to be in some form of life insurance, whichever one you pick. But if you have those easy conversations with a consumer, that's the stuff that resonates, right? We're either going to spend it or give it. And the best way for you to spend your money is not on Wall Street and taking money out of it. And then if a big crash hits, your shekels are gone. There is no check. You have to have a monthly guaranteed income check for life. Annuities have been around since the Romans, and it is the only contract, right? It's not an investment, as Doug always says. It is a contract between you and a legal reserve insurance company that's going to guarantee they put a check into your checking account every 30 days It's called sleep insurance. You're going to love it. You're going to love me for helping you with it. And this is a place for some of your money. And always use that word, some of your money, because it resonates with people thinking, this guy wants all of my money. And they'll turn around and want to give you all of their money. And if you're an AUM guy, maybe you might be able to do a little bit of both. But yeah, that's what I would say. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, here I am 24 years later, and it's just a great way for you guys to hit these home runs and enjoy life and get those commissions, and by doing the right thing by your customers.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Steve. I mean, for those listening, this episode's been huge. I mean, you really have the start to finish mapped out. And so I like it. Keep it simple. Stay focused. What are your goals? How do we get you there? And we'll have all of Steve's information in the comments below. So just look there for them, and we'll get you in contact with Steve. And first step is Annuity Fundamentals, and we'll get you trained up. So thank you so much, Steve. We appreciate you joining us. And please leave comments in the comments below. We want to hear from you guys, any questions you have, and hopefully we can have you back, Steve. Thank you so much.